is the last in a series of 4 videos that I am doing to try to help you learn how to search for different kinds of opportunities, how to get organized with the opportunities that you're looking forward to, and how to get a great letter of recommendation, but also ease the burden on your recommender. Grad school is going to be a very exciting part of your life. Are you going to thinking about a clinical graduate program, such as a physician assistant program or veterinary program? Are you thinking about something in biology, but you're not sure if it's going to be biochemistry or biology, maybe material science, materials engineering? So just by saying that out loud, you realize that there are a bunch of different things that you could be doing, and you really need to think hard about what this will be like. This is different than the summer research that you applied for. This is a place where you're going to be for a long period of time doing something difficult. So I need you to think about this a lot. So again, ideally you put this into some kind of spreadsheet so you can keep up with the dates. I like Word docs. If you need this Word doc, you're welcome to contact me by email and I will send you this Word doc, or you can just recreate it on your own. Again, I think a spreadsheet program is probably easier. Again, you have found these grad programs. You have looked for programs all over the nation. Maybe you've gone to a conference. Maybe you've heard from a friend or a sibling about how great this such and such a school is. Maybe they go there for their undergrad education. You went to visit and you saw the vet school and you're like, that's where I have to go. So I need you to open your aperture. This has to be different than how you applied for undergrad programs. I need you to think broadly about what you would do, what are actual reach schools for you. There is a ton of information on these schools' websites about their GRE scores, which is an exam many people take to get into graduate programs, or if it's a clinical program, how many hours of patient contact do they require versus how many do their applicants actually have. So if they only require 5 hours of patient contact, but the people that they're actually accepting have 2,000 hours of patient contact, you might want to consider that. That's maybe if you have 1,000, you're definitely inside their window, but are you the top applicant, especially if it's a very competitive program? So you need to do your homework. If you don't know the answer to something like that, how many students do they take? Is it this kind of program or that kind of program? There is someone that has an email that you can ask. Now, ideally, you bulk all these questions up together and send one organized, respectful email to the person listed at that program. So you don't ask them one question, then a week later another question, then a week later another question. But let's just assume you found some programs. You need to know how to stay organized. Most STEM graduate programs, you're going to aim for that December 1st deadline, ideally prior to that. But what are we going to do? You're going to have found programs. I'll talk about how you're going to find them later, but you're going to put in your document like this or in your spreadsheet the name of the school, and it may be the University of Utah, it may be the University of Florida, it may be the such and such a named institute of such and such at this place. You need to figure out what the actual name of the school is. Many schools, institutions, graduate programs have a name that is not just the bio grad program at Harvard. Like you take the time to figure out what the actual formal title is. What is the location? So the graduate school or the medical school may not be on the same piece of property as the undergrad location. So you went to a football game at this place and you thought it was awesome. Come to find out their med school is 20 miles away in the woods. Is that what you wanted? Did you know that it was not on that big, cool campus with that big sports vibe? So you need to know about where physically it is. Okay, what is the department? Now, again, this isn't necessarily that applicable to the clinical programs, but when it comes to STEM grad programs, is the department of bioengineering? Is it biomedical engineering? Is it biomedical science and engineering? Is it biology? Is it biological sciences, biological and biochemistry, or whatever, biological sciences? You need to know the exact name of the department. Do your homework, write this stuff down. They're all going to be different. Is it a PhD program? Do they also have a master's program? Would you accept the master's program? Maybe it's a master's in engineering, like an MEng program. What does that mean? Many times there's a Master of Science program, and that is a thesis requiring program, a program where you're going to do some kind of research and write a thesis. There are also master's programs that are a bit more technically focused that do not require that thesis piece. It's more classwork or maybe an entrepreneurship portion. What program are you applying for? Does it have a name on the program? It could be the something's name, masters of this exact thing. They're not all a Master of Science in biology. They're, do the work. Make sure you have crossed your I's and dotted your T's. Just kidding. That was a joke. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Okay. Many times for a PhD program, you must meet the bar, like the requirements they have for you getting in. And there are generally two different camps or two different types of PhD programs. One where to get in, you are already matched with someone who does research. So you would be supported, your PhD will be supported by, Dr. Joe's lab. Like he is who you are going to be working with for all the time that you are there. Other programs get in a cohort of students, and then it's a rotational. So for your first or maybe first and second years, you are doing some of your graduate classwork and rotating through different people's laboratories. And this isn't like an academic laboratory. This is a research laboratory where a bunch of different people are doing research. And you're going to learn about this over here in this lab, and then 2 or 3 months in this lab, and 2 or 3 months in this lab. And then you select one, or you are selected. These are vastly different, and you need to look at what that means. Remember, for STEM PhDs, you do not pay for STEM PhDs. You are on a stipend of some sort, and you have a tuition waiver of some sort. Master's programs, you almost always pay. And for your clinical programs, you're going to be paying for those. Okay, so again, this PI lab research group, you may or may not need to have already engaged and had an ongoing conversation with someone, and they really do feel that you are a fit. Now, they don't admit you. You still go through the normal application process. You have to meet the normal application requirements of all the other candidates. But you've already talked to Dr. John, and you know that he has agreed to take you on as a student if you are admitted. Okay, so there are different ways these work at different places. You need to figure this out that information, you can look up the curriculum, how it works, the application processes. This will be very clear on these websites. If there is a specific project you would want to be working on in Dr. John's lab, so he works on these two different things, or he works on project A, B, and C, and what he's realized is if you come in and work on project C, you can do this whole data analytics thing or whatever. So you have identified what you're going to be working on. Some programs are rotational. You will not be matched to a program or a project before you enter. You will go in as a cohort, rotate through a bunch of different people's research labs, and then there will be a selection process. As well, when do your LORs, your letters of recommendation, need to arrive? Is there an interview process? Do they take their top 20 candidates and fly them to the institution to interview you? Is there a video interview? When will you hear results? The other piece I would put on here too is you should be looking at this well before the fall of your senior year. So hopefully there was some kind of video group chat thing where you could all go in. It's like a Zoom info session. These can be very rote where hundreds of people get on there. They can be very small. So was there a video thing? And if you missed it, can you go back? Is there a video recording of that informational meeting where students could learn about things that other students, maybe you'll even look at different students, and they'll come, the active students currently in the program can talk about what they're doing, how things worked, what they like about it. But then you've identified 7 different programs that you would like to apply to. Now remember also, some of you will be what we call regionally constrained. For a variety of reasons, you may need to live in a specific geographic region. In that region, you need to find different types of programs that you would want to do. Unless you are literally the top candidate on the planet, do not apply to all elite tiny programs or all programs at one institution in 4 different labs. That's not how this works. You need to approach it with a lot more precision than your undergraduate applications. You do need to find some reach schools. You need to do 3 reach schools, but they can't be crazy reach, I don't know, maybe I'll get in. These need to be well-researched things that you think you got a shot. And then 3, that you definitely exceed all of the application criteria. And then the rest of them, maybe 4 more or so, that are not safety schools per se, because the calculus And to get a new incoming cohort of graduate program or students it varies dramatically place to place. It is not like undergraduate admissions. It's an entirely different thing. So you need to find places where you think you meet all the requirements, but you may not be as well trained as some of the other applicants. Maybe many of them already came in with masters, but you have good research, but you only have a bachelor's. But you have great GRE scores and you've done this, that, and the other. That's what I mean by a reach school, where you're pretty sure you meet and exceed most of the requirements. Then there need to be a batch where you absolutely exceed all the requirements, and then somewhere you would be in your estimation of what all the information you've gathered, you would exceed what's there, or you really think you could be a big fish in this pond, whatever kind of pond, big pond, small pond. Okay, how are you going to rank them? So I picked another physics analogy. So this is a lever because we're all simple machines. That's my professor joke for the day. But the area of research compared to that at other schools. And again, this means like you're going to actually, as part of the curriculum, need to take these 2 classes that you wouldn't have to at the other place because the area of research encompasses both biology and biochemistry, even though you really don't want the biochemistry classes or whatever. So what is the area of research? Is it exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life? Or is it pretty close? So rank that 1 to 5. The physical location of the school, not the entire university, the place where you will spend your time. Because this is not like undergrad. There are many times where you are at this location semi by yourself. There are other people there, but you are not going to be cohorted and shepherded through like you hopefully were in undergrad. There are sort of on your own times. You're finishing up your experiments, all of your other lab mates are done, or you're going to go in on Saturday to do something with the cells. You need to be confident and comfortable in this location and think about it like you have your first job there and you are living independently alone and you're moving to the area with, say, you don't know a lot of people. So how comfortable do you feel being in that place as an individual? You won't be an individual all the time, but you will be more on your own than an undergrad. Then E is a hard one, the ease of living there. What I mean is like, can you live at home if you have a family that you could live with? Are your cousins nearby? Can you go over for holidays? Do you have 2 friends that got jobs in that city and y'all could live together? Is it cheap? Is it easy to get to whatever you call home via Amtrak or via, one stop by air? Is it a place where it's easy for you to be there? And I can't answer this for you. This is a tough one. The vibe of the lab or the group. I'm not talking about the vibe of the whole university. I kind of want you to think about that in terms of the reputation, which we'll get to at R. But the vibe of the group. You've gotten on the website. You've looked at Dr. John's lab. This is what it looks like. They go out 2 times a year, and they have these bowling nights, or like they bring in pizza for every Friday of the fall semester for whatever their group is. The pictures look good. It looks like Dr. John takes different members of his lab to different conferences and gives them all these opportunities. It looks like from their publications that I've looked that Dr. John, really does work with Dr. Sue over here. And so there may be, there's like a coordination between these 2 labs at these 2 different places. And so your lab just got twice as big because you're going to work with some of Dr. Sue's students. So the vibe is great. It's a bunch of people that feel like you, that looks like they're doing some of the kind of stuff that you do. And then if you're definitely going to be going back and forth, hopefully with a few of these people. Do they respond? What does their website look like? Are they growing? Is Dr. John has only been there 1 year, or has Dr. John been there for 35 years? What level of establishment do you want out of this person, and what does it seem like they're doing? What is the tone of their emails? What is the tone of it? And I can't tell you what you're going to like, where you're going to feel comfortable. The extras. Is this school tied to some kind of med school or some specialized program? So are you actually, I went to a program for my PhD that was a university and a medical school. So there was a mix of students in some of my classes. My research was actually down on the medical school campus. They were actually quite close to each other, but I did have to have a car to get from one place to the other. But is this a program actually in the veterinary school? So you're going to be doing your PhD in the veterinary school. So you're going to have access to all of that research, those students, those extra classes, those extra faculty. Is this actually, at an institution with a nationally renowned some kind of lab over here, and you're going to get to use that microscope or that data? And so what is it about that is extra? And again, remember, you are not there for 1 summer. You are there for 5-ish years. So I also want you to think about the reputation of the school nationally. Now, not the reputation of the undergraduate degree that you would have gotten there. So if you're going to look at a PhD in biochemistry, I'm not asking you to go look at their undergrad biochemistry department and figure out what the rank of that is nationally. I want to know, for you to be able to evaluate what the rank of your degree would look like, or the reputation of your degree would look like for the graduate program that you're in. Because again, undergraduate institutional rankings, even by department and by institution, are different than graduate institutional rankings in some areas. So a school can be really good in this and incredibly good in this graduate thing, or vice versa. It's the graduate program's okay, the undergrad is out of this world. Also, is name recognition important to you? And what kind of name recognition is important to you? So think about how that reputation looks nationally. You can look at how many, what is their outcome of their PhD students? And then you need to kind of score this out. Obviously, hopefully you'll go wherever you're accepted and just really hope for a really good fit, because you've researched this well. But I think you should know which one are your tops, even if one of your top choices isn't a reach school. If one of your top choices, a place where you think you would thrive, is sort of a mid-tier in your mind, nationally good, but nationally not the best one in the nation, with maybe not the best name recognition. And again, it doesn't matter. I just want you to be aware of how you will be perceived if that matters to you. And again, it doesn't matter in all circumstances. So and again, I can't answer that for you. I want you to think this through, and you need to spend a lot of time doing this. But hopefully this is helpful to you. The biggest things and the easiest thing, the biggest thing you can do is spend the time looking at the program, because now websites, there's so much information, and reach out to an administrative person with a set list of questions, not like, tell me about your program. You do the homework, you figure out what their program's like. Don't go, when is your due date? That's going to be on the website. If you have a specific question, something that you want to ask, or maybe even it looks like, so Dr. John and Dr. Sue are the two that are working on this area, which is the area I'm most interested in. What do you think about, is there a best contact email for them if you can't find it otherwise? But again, try to do all of the background yourself and only reach out to ask questions once you've really exhausted trying to figure them out. Okay, I hope this was helpful. And again, you're welcome to reach out to me if you'd like me to email you the Word doc, but otherwise I'd probably organize it in an Excel file so that then you can keep up with all of your dates, and you can maybe rank order these by date of when everything's due. And then you can also be mindful of when those results should come through so that you're able to, kind of look for those emails so you don't miss anything.